If you're a coach and you've had people reading your emails, watching your videos, following you on social for weeks or months or years and still not buying, I tell you, there's one thing you're doing wrong. I'm going to show you today. And more importantly, show you how to get people to buy twice as fast just by rearranging the content you've already got into a different order. It's going to be fun. It's going to be practical. Let me show you how to do it. Here's why this matters. There's a trust deficit right now. Trust is at an all-time low. People have been burnt before, seen it all before, been promised before, and had bad experiences. Second thing is most coaches are on this content hamster wheel. We create too much and we market too little. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we've got the right assets in place and we're promoting them well in the right order to the right people. You have these people like check you out, follow you for months and months and months and do nothing. And when they finally buy, guess what? They buy from the other dude, not you, leading you like the guy in the background here, not the nice dude who walked away with a girl in the front. If we do this right though, here's what happens instead. We're going to design a little algorithm that's designed to create trust fast inside 30 days with your new prospects. Number two, we're going to reuse the assets we've already got. Like we've got some Lego bricks. We're going to make a new shape. And we want to create some super fans, people who are binging your stuff, because as we'll find out in a minute, bingers are buyers. If we do this right, instead of like crockpot, I'm going to have people in my world for ages and eventually they'll pop. What we're going to do is get them to buy from you 2 times faster, because here's the big idea. It's not about how much time somebody's on your list. It's about how much time they're on your brand. Brandwidth is the goal. How do we drive consumption? Because consumption drives conversion. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to tell you how I discovered this Brandwidth idea. It came from chatting with a great client of mine called Sharan, who ran an experiment and discovered something super fascinating. He coaches real estate agents, and in his marketing, they had this idea. The mission was, let's have a look at all of our buyer data for the last 2 years. All the people who bought a course, attended the workshop, bought a coaching program, to figure out what have they got in common so we can do more of that. And they were looking for, is there something demographically? Are they in a particular area? Was there a particular ad or particular campaign? Is there a funnel that's working better than others? What's the thing that is working? So we can just double down on that and do more of it. So that makes logical sense. Here's what they discovered. They looked at all of the buyers over the last 2 years, and there was no big demographic difference. There was no ad difference. There was no targeting difference. The funnels weren't the difference. The one thing that all of the people who bought in the last 2 years had in common was this weird thing, 48. The thing that they all had in common was they'd all consumed 48 minutes of Sharan's content. So that got them thinking, okay, what would happen if we could get people to consume the 48 minutes? Oh, the funny thing was some of them had consumed the 48 minutes over a year, some of them over a few weeks, and some of them like in a day, like jumped on, found him, binged his stuff and bought. And so they decided to run a little experiment. The experiment was, can we split test so that half the people get the normal follow-up sequence and half the people get something engineered to create the maximum amount of mind minutes. We call it Brandwidth, right? How many minutes of your content people consume for 30 days. So route A, normal funnel, normal sales follow-up process. Route B, some of their best assets put together in a much more streamlined format so that people consume them all in a much shorter period of time. Here's what happened at the end. Number one, people in Group B, unsurprisingly, bought much more than people in Group A. They bought at twice the rate just by giving them more content to consume up early, and sales conversion rate went up by 40%. Incredible. And so the experiment looked like this. Your lead comes in with some kind of lead magnet, whatever that was, that didn't change. Half of them went through route A and they got the normal, follow-up sequence. Half of them went to route B, and route B was a mixture of stuff over 30 days. Some video, some short form video, some written pieces, some audio, even some memes and GIFs and stuff like that. And this was the end result. And so what we discovered was this one big idea. In fact, this is in the book that you can download if you want to get a copy. There's a link to download this below. But let me draw this for you. I think it'll be really, really helpful. Here's what they figured out. I'm sure you've had people who've been on your list for ages, and after being on your list for ages, they buy. And so the belief we have is, if I'm in your world for long enough, your time on list, if I'm on your list for long enough, eventually they'll buy. And there's some merit to that. But what really made the difference isn't the amount of time on list. It's the amount of time on your brand. In other words, how much consumption there is going on. So in the normal model, somebody opts in and they get some stuff and they watch some and they blah, blah, blah. Over time, there's a lapse time on list, but what really happened is they went from like 0 time on list to, whatever that number there is. But here's the fun thing. What we figured out with Sharan is that we can accelerate this and increase time on brand in 30 days, and we get people to buy twice as fast, and conversion rate, again, went up 40%. So what I want to do right now is show you how to build a Brandwidth system for you. Is that cool? I'm going to give you 5 quick keys, and then we're going to get super tactical, super practical. I'm sure you've had a time where you discovered someone on the internet, new best friends, binged a bunch of their stuff and bought. I've had it happen to me a couple of times. Once with a $15,000 program. I met the dude, met on the Instagram, found him on YouTube, watched a bunch of Instagram stuff, watched some long form stuff. 24 hours later, maybe 40 hours later, signed up for a $15,000 program and super, super grateful. That's happened to me a couple of times, not just because I'm a fast buyer, but because when I find something I like, I want to go deep. If it makes sense to me, I'll move. Your best prospects are like that too. So one of the exercises you can do is you can have a look at your first 30 days, what you're doing right now, and go, okay, what do people get over the first 30 days right now? And then add up how many minutes that is for you. And just factor in the fact that not everybody watches every piece, right? So if you've got a 30% open rate to your emails, whatever number of minutes, maybe divide that by 30. Again, there's click-through rates, etc. But that'll give you an idea about what kind of Brandwidth we're creating right now. Let me just say, for definition's sake, we think about Brandwidth as the amount of time somebody spends consuming your content. It's measured in minutes. The more consumption we can drive, the more conversion naturally happens as a byproduct. Okay? So, I want to give you 5 keys right now. Here's the first one, become bingeable. What we just discovered is that bingers are buyers. If somebody consumes your content, the more they binge, the more they buy, and our job is to become bingeable. So how bingeable are you right now? Are people watching your stuff? Are they not watching your stuff? Is their stuff even for them to watch? And are they breadcrumb together so it's easy for people to go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, like a Netflix show? Number 2, I want to shake your assets. You've got assets already. The best thing about this whole system is you don't need to create anything new. You've already got probably all the content you need. You've been doing this for a while now. You've got heaps of stuff. But a lot of it is sitting in your Google Drive. Just like, people have those garages full of stuff. We need to have a garage sale. Just take the stuff out of your Google Drive, put it in front of your prospects, your best stuff in front of your newest prospects, and it'll work. Amazing. This is one of our great clients, Ryan Dice, super smart guy. He was talking about creating content. He was like, are you creating content or are you building an asset? That's what we're really talking about here. Taking the stuff that you've got and turning it into marketing assets that'll work for you for the long haul. Number 3, market your marketing. We all create so much content, right? We create too much and we market too little. And what this is about is taking some of the stuff you've already created and making sure that it's spoon-fed to people in the right sequence to make it work. How well are you marketing your marketing right now? Next, you don't want to have CTAs in every piece of content, okay? Sometimes there's a call to engagement, a call to action, whatever you want to call it. Some of them need to be a straight give. What I love to do is give in public and sell in private. In other words, in public, we're going to give stuff and we're going to have people, if they want to find out more, send us a message, and then the sales can happen offline, out of the public eye. That way your reputation is squeaky clean, people love your stuff, and they're more likely to engage, comment, DM when not every video is like a, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. The buy my stuff can happen in private. The public stuff wants to be squeaky clean. So it's about balancing your give-ask ratio. Last piece. What we really want to do is inject what we call persuasions. In other words, if we want to get people to buy, let's put the stuff in the environment that makes people more likely to buy. And that's about what kind of content we shoot. We'll do another video about Brandwidth content. Right now, I just want you to get the big idea. So let's build out this Brandwidth process for you. Couple of simple steps. Step number 1, I want you to do an inventory of the assets you've already got. You can use this worksheet here or make your own if you feel like working harder for no apparent reason. Steps are really, really simple. First step, figure out what are the top 3 hot buttons that people come to you for. For us, there's a marketing one, a sales one, a delivery one. The marketing one is, hey, I'm just not generating enough good leads. Number 2, people come to us because they feel like just not enough sales are happening. Like sales is harder and it's messy. People fall through the cracks. So there's just not enough deal flow. And number three, they're working hard coaching and they want something that gets even better client results with much less time. Okay, so the big picture, you just figure out what your top three are. Next, what are the specific symptoms for each of those three things? You're going to end up with some like tactical, practical hot buttons. So instead of marketing's not working, it could be I'm paying too much for ads and I'm not getting enough ROI. Okay, cool. Then I want you to look in your Google Drive and go, what are the assets I've already got for each of these? You've probably got stuff, videos you've used, checklists you've got, workbooks, podcast episodes, stuff you've already got. Make a list of the assets you've got and then what format are they in? You know, this one might be a long form video. This one here might be an audio file. This is a text document. Maybe there's some kind of mind map thing, right? Whatever formats you've got, just make a list because we want to mix it up if we can. And then how many minutes does it take to consume said thing? If there's an email, it's what? A minute? If it's a video, let's call that 10 minutes. And all we want to do is get a list of what are the hot buttons, what are the assets that map to the problems that people have got, mix up the formats and work out how many minutes we can. Because our goal, your number's going to be different. In Sharon's case, it was 48 minutes. Your number's going to be different. But I guarantee that getting to 48 minutes quickly is going to be significantly better than the random that you've been doing up until now. Once we've got our asset inventory done, it's just a question of sequencing them. So this worksheet here is just mapping out the first 30 days of somebody opting into your world. And we've got a couple of specific messages here that we send on the ask side of things. And all I want you to do is take the assets we just mapped out and put them into an order that makes sense for you. There's a strategy behind it. There's better ways than others, but for now, something is better than the nothing we're probably doing right now. Is that cool? So listen, here's the big idea. It's not about how much time somebody's on your list. It's about how much time they're on your brand. Brandwidth is the goal. How do we drive consumption? Because consumption drives conversion. If you want to get a copy of the worksheets that I've been working through today, there's a link in the description below. And if you want to see our $1 million plan, the way that we take coaching businesses and get them to $1 million a year and beyond, there's a video about that as well. And the link is in the description below as well. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you soon.